I want to go through, I believe there's 9 problems in this section. So I want to go through the first 3. What were they? I think I might even have it pulled up right here if I do it right. No, that's not the right section. We're in this is 2.3 now, right?
Yes.
Okay. 165, 169, and 175. I feel like getting started there. 3, 6. Yeah, there are 9 problems in this one. So let's get started there. Which computer am I on again? Too many computers in my hand. But we are doing breakout rooms with those 3 problems.
Which
You
ones?
said 165,
Yeah, let me throw it in the chat right quick.
please.
My screen go. Okay, so if I do this, if I juggle my screens around, I think I can get some numbers. 165, 169. And 175, I think is what we're gonna do. Yeah, because this one has a lot of problems on it, right? That you're not supposed to do, or not assigned to do, I guess I should say. You're allowed to do them. They're just not assigned. Okay, so let's go to where am I at? Breakout rooms. Like that's a good number, 6 breakout rooms. Okay, open it up. Oh, you're in here. Come on. Coming in late. Just gonna be there. Let's go. But one of them's not really. All right. Still have 4. I got 4. Oh, that's perfect. And we got 15 minutes. There we go. I don't need to record this. No. Where are we at? 165. Who's in group 1? Anybody from group 1 get this done? Anthony, Fidel, Kathleen, and Vanessa. We want to solve this thing for D. How do I get that D by itself? Anybody awake?
Can I do it?
I was waiting for Anthony, Fidel,
Oh, okay.
Kathleen, or Vanessa. One of y'all. Did y'all get this?
I was having trouble with this one.
Okay. So if we want to solve for D, what's attached to the D? What's the other thing there?
Pi.
Pi, all right. So we have pi there. How's the pi attached?
Yeah.
What's the operation between those two things?
Multiplication.
It's multiplication.
All right, so if it's multiplying, how do we get rid of something that's multiplying?
Divide by pi.
It's
All right, so we
divided
got it.
by
Yes, I think you're saying it. Divide by pi. So maybe, maybe let me rewrite this out. C equals what? Pi d.
and
Do
it
we want-
equals C by P.
We said what we want to do is divide by pi. And if we look on the
Yes.
right side, why did we divide by pi on this right side? What do you see you might be able to do over there?
Because the multiplication it's d by the multiplication it's pi times g, and then we take g and we divide c by pi.
And we see these two pi's. Is there
No, one-
something I can do there?
In this case, if you want to add
Cross them out.
pi for both sides and then divide by pi,
Okay, so I think I heard it. The correct thing, I want to simplify these things out, right? I have pi over pi. This is like having 3 over 3. Yeah, 5 over 5. Anything over itself is always what?
1.
It's 1. And we multiply by 1. What does that do? Absolutely nothing, right?
yes.
So it's kind of like some people like to say it disappears. It really doesn't disappear. It simplifies out to 1 and we multiply by it and it's not doing anything. So on this right over here, what do I have? I think I'm left with just my d over here, right? Once I get rid of my pi's. I have a d over 1 maybe. But that's just d. On the left over here, what do I have? I think some people want this to simplify out more than it does, and it doesn't really simplify out. You just have to keep things, you have to keep writing things long ways. All the variables stay there.
Just c over pi.
This is just c over pi.
So d
This-
equals c over pi.
That's exactly what they want. We solve for d. D is over here by itself. That's what they ask for.
Like it comes automatically.
Questions about this one? Are we getting this now?
I did. I just want to clarify. I messed up by doing pi divided by d, like on the bottom instead of pi. So I just need to be careful next time.
You could solve this for pi. Is that what you did?
Like whenever I had their normal equation, c equals pi times diameter. I did pi. I divided pi diameter. Pi times diameter divided by pi times diameter, and I just messed myself up.
If you do that. Yeah, see, that would simplify out both of these. We just want to get the pi, right? We just want to get the,
You just want d by itself, right?
yeah, we just want d by itself, so we want to move just the pi.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be making things 1 over there.
Making it Chinese for me.
We could solve for pi here, right? We could solve for maybe pi. It might look a little different, but if we did, I think we get circumference to diameter if we move things around to solve for pi. And that's actually kind of one of the ways that like pi is defined. It's like how many times around the circle compared to the distance across. If you go Google circumference and you go look at the wiki page, they have a little GIF that shows you that relation. It's kind of nice. What was that, 165? Where are we going next? 169? Who's in group 2 is Alondra, Brian, Josh, and Michael. And 169 is this one. Let me clear this. And what are we solving for? We are solving for B. That one right there.
So I took the formula and then divided both sides by h.
Okay, so dividing by h. So a equals 1/2 b. So I believe that gets rid of our h's. And so do y'all like, I don't know. This is just a personal preference. I'm probably going to swap the sides this thing's written on. Hopefully that's not too quick. Does everybody see how I'm getting that? Hopefully. I think it's my own personal bias probably coming in. I like to solve for the things on the left side. So over here, I have 1/2 b. Over here, I have a over h.
And I divided both sides by 1/2 to get the b by itself.
Dividing by a half. That's one way to do it.
To multiply
Multiply
Multiply.
by
2.
2. We hadn't really gone into this, but dividing by 1/2. They do that with dividing fractions. Sometimes they say copy dot flip. It's the same thing as multiplying by 2/1. So there's a few ways you might think about this, but either way, whether we divide by a half or we multiply by 2, I think I'm going to multiply by 2 just because it's a little more straightforward. We multiply by the reciprocal there. Multiply by the reciprocal there. This should simplify out that side, and we should get. Someone have a question?
So then you would write out to b equals 2 times a divided by h.
Oh, that's exactly what I got.
Yes.
The important thing is that you put the 2 with the a, right? If you put it with the h, it's going to change your fraction around. Not the same thing. I'm trying to think if we did a over h over a half, that might be something that you ended up getting something like maybe do it over here. And if you ended up with something like a over h over a half, we typically don't like to write fractions within fractions. So if you did this, you would have to rewrite this a little bit. So let me maybe go over that. So maybe let's suppose you divided by a half on both sides and you ended up with something like this thing over here on the left. So how would you fix that? First thing, I would not write it in that format. I would write it in this format with the division bar. So it's a over h divided by a half. This is that copy dot flip thing I was talking about. We're going to copy this one. We're going to change it to multiplication. And instead of 1 over 2, I'm going to get 2 over 1. So there's multiple ways you could work these things. Usually there are. Either way, you should end up with the same or something that looks similar. So the 2 should go for the 8. The 2 should go on the a. Should be 2a over h. My brain and my tongue aren't communicating this morning like they should. Any questions about this one? And I dropped my b somewhere along here, but this should say b equals this, b equals this. Okay. There's a few people working through these at least. If you're not getting these, we have office hours. You can ask questions right now as well. That's what we're here for. And 175 Ooh, this one's interesting. Okay. And we're solving this for
Okay.
the A right there.
Yeah.
Who's in group 3? Jerry, Gania, Sage, and Talon. Sadly, as in 4.
I had trouble with this one. I didn't know how to start it because of the second T to the second power. I don't know how to separate the A from the T.
Okay. So there should be something you do right before you start dealing with this. So we're looking here. The first thing I'm doing to A is like multiplying it by T squared, multiplying it by half. And I'll look further out and what do I see?
Square root.
I don't see square root there.
What I did, teacher, I did H subtract by 45t equals 1/2 AT squared.
Yeah, so some people have more difficulty with this, but if I'm looking at this, I have something like A, but if I were to plug into A, I'm going to multiply it by half first. I'm going to multiply by that T squared first. And
Yeah,
then I would add that 54t. So when we start solving for variables, it's kind of like we're working backwards from what we would do if we plugged a number into that thing. So the last thing we would do is add that 54t. So the first thing we're going to do if we want to solve it is, and I think Gania was getting at it.
Yes, I just moved the 45t to the other side. So I was like,
How'd you move it?
I did H minus 45t equals 1/2 AT squared.
Okay,
And
so this is addition between the two. So I'm going to
yes,
subtract is what I'm
yes.
doing. And I'm doing this from both sides. I don't have much room, so I'm going to cram it in over here. This says 54t up in here. I'm subtracting 54t from both sides. So my left side looks like what? H minus 54t.
Equals 1/2 AT squared.
Yeah, and I think the other person was saying that they got this far probably, but they weren't sure what to do with that, like t squared. Personally, I would probably deal with that 1/2 right now. And if we do that, I think it might make it easier to deal with that other part. So if I want to get rid of that half when we talked about it, what's the operation?
The operation is just to multiply by H. It's between parentheses H minus 45t by the times 2 equals 8 times 2, and then A equals 2H minus 108t over t squared.
Okay, so if we want to get rid of this 1/2, what we're doing, and what I think I heard was we're multiplying by 2.
Yes.
And if we do that, do I want to leave it? You might leave it not distributed. You might distribute it. You can distribute it if you want. I think I'm just going to leave it 2 times H minus 54t just for a second. And this is equal to AT squared now.
Yes.
And so I think this looks really crazier than it probably is. Get out of here, dog. But we are still solving for A.
Yeah.
And so what is the operation? We have a t squared there, but what is the operation that it's connecting it to the A? What's happening right here in between these two things? What's that operation?
Multiplication.
That's multiplication. So if we want to get rid of multiplication, what do we do?
Divide.
Divide by square.
We're dividing by what?
T squared.
T squared.
T squared.
And so that should get rid of this thing.
Okay, how do you divide this other side though?
This other side, that's
Yeah.
it.
That's it.
That's about as simple as it's gonna get at this point. I'm not sure if I'd leave that factored or if I'd distribute it. I don't think it's gonna be a whole lot cleaner anyway, either way. I don't know, Miss Wise, do you have a preference for that?
For which part?
That top numerator here. Should
No,
they
that's
distribute
fine.
that?
You mean distribute?
Yeah, but it's a common factor between the two of them, and we're about to get into that stage where we just start factoring things. Get out of here,
True.
dog. I gotta work.
I mean, I would say with test one being this week, I would give them credit for it this week, but once we start factoring, they won't get full credit unless they factor it out properly.
You
You're-
might be, yeah, you might be tempted to distribute that.
Don't.
Yes, for me, for example, I distributed by,
If you did, that's fine. I think I'm all right with it. 108t over what? T squared.
yes, but I think they don't have any changes, like if you distribute by 2 or to leave it the way what it is. It's the same thing, I think, right?
Yeah. I think a lot of people might be tempted to simplify out the t and the t squared.
Because it's the whole thing between the parentheses 2h minus 108.
But yeah, it doesn't quite work like that. So that might be something to go over. If you have something like, I don't know, something that's divisible by like 2, have you all tried this? Let me do larger numbers. Trying to think. Or do something like that. If I just simplified these two, right? That gives me what, 1 and 2. Does that work? 6 minus 2 gives me 4. But if I do this the other way, 6 minus 4 over 2, if I do it the correct way, right, this is really just 1. So if you're just simplifying one number on the numerator,
Mhm.
it doesn't work correctly. You have to simplify every number in the numerator, each different term. If we simplified each different term, like 3 minus 2, right, that works. But you have to simplify every and each term in the numerator. We can't just start simplifying just one term. And so hopefully that explains why those t's don't simplify in that previous one a little bit more. We would have to be able to pull a t out of everything that's in there. And that first term only had an h in it, if I recall. It had no t's in that first term. Any questions about this? I know we're throwing out a lot.
Okay.
But like this is the thing, I don't know. This is the thing I kind of like about math is like you don't have to believe me just because I say so, right? It's like you can go throw these numbers in there yourself, look at these properties. These things don't exist just because I say so. They are out there.
Excuse me, teacher, in this case, what is the solution? Is it the a equals to a? No. Is it the 2 between parentheses h minus 54 over t
Okay, so-
squared?
So I think we had, was it 2h minus
2h minus
108
1.
t
Yes.
over t squared? Was that what we ended up with, I believe?
Yes, but I think it's the good solution. It's the solution, right?
That should be solved for a.
Yes, solve for a.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the question is.
I want to just make sure if it is the whole thing over t squared, it's the solution.
Yeah, this is it. This is what we're expecting. This formula.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I want to just make sure. Thank you.
Okay. I think we're on to what, the next 3? I got them up here somewhere. We did 165, 169, 175. That's the 3 that we just did. 179, 183, and 187 should be the next ones.
There's a couple people that I private messaged that didn't respond, just so they know to check that I'm messaging them about grade stuff.
Okay, so I'm gonna throw that in there. I guess make a quick announcement about the stuff that we're doing with the test. So we have the test review up for this test. If you want to go look at that, it's under the same spot where all your homework stuff is. It's within your homework worksheets. There are other test reviews, and I'll just like preface this, like all the other test reviews are from the previous semester. So if you go look at those test reviews, they may or may not match up with what we're doing now. Each semester it changes by like maybe one section or so. So we might be covering different stuff. With that said, I would probably wait until I make an announcement that the new stuff is up before you go start studying it, right? I guess was my point. Any other questions about anything that we're doing? Ms. Wise, do you have any input about the test, about anything?
I do have input about the note taker. Did anyone see that announcement? I know I posted an announcement asking for a note taker. I believe there is a compensation as well. So if you're already, all of you are taking notes, right? Every single person, because you're turning it in. So if you think your handwriting is amazing and you would like compensation for it, they have that. It's in the announcement. There's an email that you email and you say, hey, I have great notes. How do I do this? Because there's someone in the class who has the ability to see the shared notes. So if there's anyone who would like to do that, that would be very, very helpful. Much appreciated.
Go into groups. Did I paste these? I pasted them in here. All right. Where you going? Room 4?
We still have 2 people here. Oh, 1 person.
Sent her to room 4. Should maybe.
Kayla, oh, there you go. It's still recording, by the way.
Michael's coming back in.
All right, let's see who's assigned.
Ooh, they like these problems, don't they? Oh, come on, notations. Okay. All right, we ready for the last 3? 189, I believe, was it. So where are we at?
Yeah.
Where's my groups? I think I called on y'all. Who's in room 5, group 5? Charmaine, Gina, and Jonathan.
All right, so I know I'm going to be wrong here, but I'm willing to be wrong. There's the 189, right?
Yeah, 189. We're gonna
Yeah.
solve for Y.
Unless somebody in my group got it right, is confident they got it right. Like, that'd be awesome. But I'm not confident because I couldn't figure it out. It's 4x plus 3y equals 7. So we're gonna start with that. We're gonna write it out. Makes it a little easier. Okay. And then I did minus 4x. So it might be wrong to start off with that. But I put the y variable by itself. So that's what I'm trying to do.
So this side is what?
It cancels out the x. So it'd be 3y equals 7 minus 4x. Okay. And this is where I may have missed is I divided by 3, all of it. Because of
Divide that by 3 and that by 3.
Yes.
Okay.
And I got y equals 7/3 minus 4/3 x. And my question was, when I write that out, Do I combine the fractions?
So 3.
So it'd be like 7/3 minus 4/3 x.
Okay, so when we add and subtract terms, what do we look for when we add and subtract terms?
A common denominator.
If it wasn't fractions, right? If we just had things that have like x squareds and x's, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do we look for when we're looking at terms like that? That's kind
If
of
they're the same,
they're the same, or that they're like terms is the
Yeah.
thing, the term that we use, right?
they're only the same denominator, looks like. So it looks like that might be my answer.
Yeah, that's it. Because this one has this is what I was trying to highlight here, right? This one has an x right here, and the other one doesn't, right? So they are not like terms. This is what we'd call constants. These are our single x terms.
So that'd be in simplified form then.
That's it right there. There's one little thing I might do just because I know where this is leading. I might lead with that the x term. So if
Instead
I
of
do
a y.
that, yeah. No, instead of the constant. So what is this? A minus 4/3 x
Mm-hmm.
less 7/3. I heard someone whisper. I'm like running out of room over here, but that's yeah. So either way, this is correct.
So just try and always lead with the x term.
It's not incorrect to not do it. It's just more like this is leading somewhere. It's leading towards like what we do that is conventional in math. It comes from like the history. I know what the formula is going to end up being.
Okay.
So if I just arrange things correctly, it's going to be in that formula and it'll be easier to read in the future. We're kind of looking ahead a little bit there. I like to throw things out before we actually get to them. Makes them a little bit less scary when we do get to them, I think. Any questions? Did everyone get that? I guess
Yes.
you could also do maybe something like this where you didn't separate it over that 3. At this point, I would probably count that correctly. We're not asking for a certain formula. Like this would be simplified. That other thing would be simplified. So any of those 3 things, if you put them on your paper, I would probably give you credit for at this point. This is where I really want to like start heading though, if I'm being honest. Are we there? Okay, we got 2 more and we got like 2 more minutes. If y'all got to burn out of here, I understand, but we're almost there. I'm gonna go ahead and finish these up. Where are we at?
I wanted to go over what was due before they head out, if there's people that were gonna head out.
Okay, did you want to do that right quick?
Yeah, just to say what's due. So remember, we are on a second week now. We said that the second week we weren't gonna accept late work because we we're gonna enforce the syllabus. We decided just to do all of unit 1, that we'll just be kind of flexible because this is the second week and there's still people that are struggling. So this week and last week's material will be kind of flexible on. If there's an issue and you have to resubmit it, then we'll accept it late up until the unit 1 test, so up until Thursday. So starting next Monday, we're going to enforce the syllabus, which means no late work is going to be accepted. So use this week to really figure out when things are due, how to turn things in, make sure you're not missing things because we're not going to do resubmissions after this week. So just a reminder of what's due. We have to do tonight is 2.1 corrections and 2.1 homework. And then due tomorrow by class is, what's the next section of notes that we have to do?
2.5 and 2.6.
Good. Oh, you know, of course, Matthew. I was seeing if they knew. It's okay. So those
Excuse
are the
me,
notes.
teacher. He says it's
tomorrow.
the deadline for today. It's for 2.1 chapter 2.1 correction.
Yes, so the homework that was isn't graded or is already graded, some of you, the solutions have been posted. So by tonight, fix the parts you
Someone's
had
lagging. I don't know if it's her or me.
wrong, and you rescan it and submit it into the corrections area.
Is that my lag or is that her lag? Can y'all hear me?
She's lagging.
That would be
Okay.
her.
Okay. That's like, yeah, she's like really lagged. Okay. Did y'all hear what she was saying?
It's mine. It's mine. I need, it's the new plate. I just moved. All right.
Okay. So 2.1 corrections are due tonight. The key should be up. There are still a few that we need, I think, to get the original graded, but you should be able to go through the key and see what you did. 2.2 homework is also due tonight. And she is gone. 2.5 and what? 2.6 notes are due by tomorrow. We're going to cover 2.5 and 2.6 in class tomorrow. And
I'm
got
back.
distracted by the cat over there. Sorry.
Oh, not mine. Oh, Charmaine's.
Yeah. It's cute. And
Thanks.
3.1 is going to be due the next day, right? 2.5, 2.6, 3.1 will be due the day after that. That will be the last section that's in unit 1. Were there questions about anything about what's due?
I have
Are we
a
getting-
question about the homework corrections.
Yeah.
So do we just go over the key and then see what we did wrong, or are we supposed to receive like a graded copy of our homework from you guys?
You should be able to click on your score once yours has been graded. I know there's a couple people that we're still finishing up right now.
And that's in the turn-in section, right? Like where we submitted it?
Yeah, so you should be able to go to see your score, and then it's like a blue number, and you click on it and it should let you see what we've like circled and what we've said that you need to fix. And then you also look at the key for guidance. And then you can, of course, talk to us also. So you can email us if you have a question.
Hey, so on the 2.2 homework, sorry, what's due, the one due tonight? Whenever you're doing homework, are you supposed to turn in the practice problems as well?
all of it's together. Textbook and graded is together.
So like when it's in a section on Blackboard that's under the homework, and they say it has 2 blue bulletin points, you're supposed to do both. Make sure you turn in both.
You're saying from the worksheet, right?
It'll say Marecek book problems on one, and it'll say algebra expert written homework. So you're doing the graded ones that say graded and the practice problems, and you're turning in both.
So the algebra written homework should be the worksheet, right? It should be like the
Right.
worksheet. It should have the book problems on the top. It should have the problems that you work on the paper on there. Those book problems and the Marecek book problems should match up. The Marecek book is just the problems from the Marecek book,
Okay.
just kind of cut out, just so we can kind of look at them in class.
But you're not just grading the graded problems, you're grading the practice as well. Make sure that we're practicing and stuff.
Everything that's on the homework worksheet. So all those book problems listed up top, the homework worksheet, those are homework. All the problems on the worksheet itself are homework.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the form you're talking about, it's just this.
Right.
Yeah.
And you'll do those 4 problems, right? Oh, so you're gonna look on each graded one, and you're gonna do those problems that are listed.
Yeah, these we usually finish in class. Today, I think we finished all but like 2 or whatever, but we usually finish these in class. You finish it if we didn't finish in class, and then you also do the graded problems. They all get turned in
Just do
together.
okay, you just do what we did in class, and then whatever we didn't finish on those problems, and then you do the homework. Okay.
Yeah, all of this is the written homework. All this goes together.
But you could still do those practice problems if you want to, right? Like those other ones.
The practice problems you're talking about are these problems. These are those problems.
Okay.
So you have to do them. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and then I have a question about corrections.
Okay.
So whenever we do corrections, do we have to rewrite all the problems, or can we just submit the one that we got wrong if it's just one?
So I've seen both, and it was fine for both. One person just like only took the graded problems and then just fixed it right next to it on the paper. and then submitted that, and that's fine because it shows what they had wrong and it shows what they submitted. Someone else just like wrote the correct way, but that doesn't really show me that you know what you did wrong. It more just shows me that at least you looked at the key. So that's good, but not ideal. Ideally, you would just fix it on your paper or write it next to it or something to show that you're learning what you did wrong, rather than looking at the key and just writing it, you know, ideally.
Gotcha.
Any other questions on that? If you get 100%, just write, I got 100 on it, or got them all correct or something, and then still submit it so that I know that you're looking at your feedback.
I have a question. So hold on, I'm just gonna look for something really quick. I'm looking for the corrections, but I don't see any like blue circles or anything like that. So I can see one that had a wrong answer.
On which one?
I'm not sure which one. I was just looking for if I could see any feedback on any of those.
Well, 2.1, you might be one of the people we didn't get to yet. Did you look at chapter 1 to see if you could see those ones? The feedback?
Excuse me, because I want to just have a good day, everyone, because I have class after that. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I don't see anything in my corrections.
You might have had it all correct. Chapter 1 homework. Actually, I see that you didn't get credit for the homework. And it says there's a note on there that tells you to resubmit it. That's why you don't have any feedback written on it in blue, because it's typed. I typed feedback and asked you to resubmit it.
Have you submitted again? I thought I already did that though.
Not a second time. It shows you've only attempted it once, and that's when you got no credit and I asked you to resubmit it.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
that's what, remember the note I was sending you earlier? I think it's about that. So I think you submitted the homework into the homework corrections. I think that's what happened, because I was saying I needed to talk to you real quick. I think you turned it into the wrong place. So just go back and double check that. And let me know if you still have questions. I know Professor Sievers wants to keep going.
Oh, okay. I think I see it now.
Okay.
Okay, solve the formula. We're solving this for y. Ooh, wrong one. That one up there. Okay. Did anybody get this? What's the first thing I want to move? All right, so what's the first thing moved?
Use the formula for area of a triangle. We're talking about 195, right? Or
193 first.
193.
oh, my bad. So you take
The 18?
Move the 3x over to the 18.
yeah, I just did minus 3x on both sides.
Okay, so I'm hearing a bunch of minus 3x. If we do that, that leaves me with what? I believe
Negative 2y equals
negative 3x.
negative
plus
3x plus 18.
and then
And then you divide both sides by negative 2 to get rid of the negative 2y.
so I'm dividing that by minus 2. I'm dividing that by minus 2. If you want, maybe do you can also separate things if you want. If you want to look at everything gets divided by that, that's also another way we can do it. So if we have two things divided by -2, we can write them out separately.
Yeah.
Either way, this side should be what? Positive y, I believe, is what's left on that side.
Yeah.
I ain't got much room, but I think I'm gonna write it right over here in this corner. What about this? What is the numbers in front of that x now?
I ended up getting positive 3/2x.
These are negative and negative. It should make it 3/2 positive with an x.
Then -9. So
And this
18
is,
divided by
yeah,
-2.
-9. (18) divided by 2. I wrote the x out in front. I wrote it on top here. Does it matter?
It should be a 9, right?
This is 9. 3/2 x minus 9 is what we're saying.
Okay.
I was talking about the x. Whether I do 3/2 x like that, or 3x over 2, or 3/2 x. Is that the same thing? Question mark. Is that the same? Yes, no, maybe. Is it a weird question? Are y'all hearing me? Someone gave me a thumbs
I'm
up.
not sure if they're the same or not.
Let's think about it. This is multiplying. If we put an x over 1, does that look like it might be the same thing then? Multiply top to top, bottom to bottom. Maybe it's written a little weird. Or write it a little more straight, maybe. As x over 1. Oh, stop, stop, stop. Ah, it's picking up something with my voice. Is it still there? Sorry. Does that look the same if I do that? That should be the, yeah, that should be the same. That's the same, whether we put it in front or on top. It's the same thing if you multiply by a whole number, if you're multiplying it to the top of that fraction. All right, so that is second to last. Any questions about this one? All right. And the last one, triangular flag. So I think we need to know area of a triangle, I think is the formula we need. So how do I find the area of a triangle?
You use the formula, right? The half A over H.
Half base times height. If you think about like a rectangle and you half that thing, take half the area. It's going to be about half the area of.
Okay, so I did the 0.75 and then half times the B, so I substituted that in.
And my B is B, right? Is what we said. And you substituted in your height.
Actually, I'm not sure why I even did that. Hold on. I'm confused.
Did you substitute in for the base? I think you'll end up with the same answer, just because they're kind of interchangeable here.
Yeah. Oh, no, sorry. No, not B. not the base. Because
And
I think
my-
we're solving for B, right?
Yeah, and my H should be what?
Is it the 1.5?
Yeah, it's it. What am I getting? This is 0.75. Make me work with fractions. What's half of 1.5? I think it's doable in your head, probably, right? Is that what we're doing? What are y'all doing next? How are we finding base?
8 or
If you have $1.50 and you have to pay half of that, how much are you paying? Was that 6 quarters?
75.75?
75. Yeah, it's 75 cents. So this is 0.75, and what's attached to it? There's got to be a B here. And probably one last step to solve for B. What are we doing?
Dividing.
By the only number that's there. Okay. Hopefully you tell me the number, not the letter. 0.75. So B is equal to. I ain't got much room in over there, but I'll squeeze it right here.
Zero.
0.75 divided
Or would
by-
it be 1?
Anything over itself should be 1.
Okay, gotcha.
1 what? The other thing, this is a word problem. Got to think about the English, putting the English back in there.
What's the base?
1, the metric here is feet. We got to be able to convert English to math and then back to math, back to English, right? Go up to your boss and you ask you how tall this is, and you tell him what? 1. He doesn't know if you mean 1 inch, 1 foot. You end up with thinking about like Spinal Tap, the Stonehenge, where it's like that big, like that's what happens. Questions? That is the final thing we're working through. We are getting close to the first test. I'm getting anxious for y'all. Is it getting close? All right, I think I'm gonna hit stop on the recording.